It's GreenStalk time again, and we are going to start our strawberries. Come with me. Hello, and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim, and it is early spring. Well, technically, it's not spring yet, but it's getting really close. And it's time for us to get our strawberry GreenStalk vertical planter set up. Now, this is an example of a GreenStalk that's already set up, and this is from last year. It's going to have to be amended and all kinds of other things, but that's not the one we're working on today. Today, we are working on strawberries. Now, here's a picture of my strawberry GreenStalk vertical planter from last year. And it was amazing. It was gorgeous, and it provided a ton of strawberries, along with strawberries that I have in the garden in other areas. But this year, we're going to have two GreenStalk planters, and we're going to get both of them set up this year. We're going to clean up the ones from last year, and we're going to add to the ones for this year. And I wanted to bring you along with me. Now, this year, I will be planting Ozark Beauty. It's an ever-bearing strawberry. Now, strawberries come in two types. You got June-bearing and ever-bearing. June-bearing strawberries put all of their fruit on typically around the month of June. In my area, that's probably more like July, but they put all of the fruit on mostly at one time, and it's a big, heavy harvest. Ever-bearing strawberries produce small amounts of strawberries all season long, and that's what I prefer. I want to get a little something all the time in the garden. So that's what we're planting today, and that's what I already have in the garden as well. I honestly don't remember the variety that I have, but I know I'm adding the Ozark. The Ozark is a really nice strawberry. So if you don't know what a GreenStalk is, or if you're very interested in GreenStalks, there will be a link in the description below that'll take you to the GreenStalk website where you can see all the different things and accessories that they have. And if you decide to buy a GreenStalk, make sure you use my coupon code Kozy10 on all of your purchase of $75 or more, and you will get a $10 discount. And you can stack that code on other sales and things that may be going on at the time of your purchase. So let's get into it. We are going to move, let's just put these here for now. We are going to move this GreenStalk right here over into the main garden area. Now, this GreenStalk has served me well in my patio space here, and I usually have 11 GreenStalks going in my outdoor grow space at all times during the growing season. And I usually have quite a few on my patio here, and then I have a few over in the main garden, and that's where we're going to move this particular planter to. So let's get that moved over, and I'll take you with me, and I'll show you how I'm going to clean it up as we set it up for strawberries. So let's go. Now, my garden is still a mess. We are still pre-planting season for most of my raised beds, but I can start working on my vertical planters, which is what we're doing today. So we are going to work on getting these strawberries in. Now, I already have strawberry plants in some of my beds because they were here last year, and strawberries are perennials. They come back every year as long as there's some chill time on them. In other words, they have to go through a winter, and then they'll come back the next year. But I'm going to clean up the ones that's already here and add where I don't have strawberries. Now, some of the things that I'm going to need to get these containers where they need to be, I'm going to add some granular fertilizer. I will be using Dr. Earth, It's an all-purpose fertilizer. It's an organic all-purpose fertilizer. And I think it's a 222. Yes. NP and K 222. And I'm going to be using Mykos. Let's see if I can get a good picture of it. Mykos is a mycorrhizal inoculant. Mykos is a natural and organic species of beneficial fungi that creates a sponge-like mass which collects and stores nutrients and water. So it helps uptake both water and nutrients. So this is something I started using a couple of years ago, and I think it helps get my plants established faster. So to clean up these beds, or should I say the tiers, for where I already have strawberries, let me bring you in closer. All right, so to clean up these tiers, I'm going to get these old leaves off. They're brittle, they're decaying, and I'm going to leave behind the crown of the strawberries, which is that mask right in the center. And I can't get in close enough, but there are little green leaves still on all of these strawberries. So we're going to get these cleaned up all the way down to where there's nothing left but that crown. And that's where our strawberries are going to come in this upcoming season. And by cleaning these up, I can also see which pockets I don't have strawberries in, and we will add strawberries to those pockets. But that's the first thing I need to do, is just get them cleaned up. So let's do that step, and then I will bring you back with how I add strawberries and fertilizer. Before I let you go, some of these cells didn't have strawberries in it. It had different types of herbs in here, and we are going to pull these out. We will be putting our herbs in a different location this year. Some of my herbs are perennials, and I'm not sure which one this is. I'm trying to look at it. I can't tell which one it is, but some of them are perennials, and they'll come back every year if you don't pull them up, and if they have proper nutrition throughout the off seasons. I just don't know which ones those were, but I can still smell them. I can smell all the different herbs in this particular pocket. Now, I have something interesting going on here. I have a strawberry plant that has found its way into the center of this particular pot. We will save that and add it when we get these pots back together. Now, strawberries will vine on you, and they will spread. Like, I have strawberries right here on the ground behind me that has spread out of this container here. So that's not uncommon, that you can take those runners and create new strawberry pockets, because they will grow. All right, we got this one cleaned out. Here's an example of one of my perennials that are coming back. These are chives that I planted 2 years ago. I didn't plant chives last year. These are from 2 years ago, and they're coming back. Now, these chives, I am going to move those over for sure. And I also have strawberries that have found their way in the center of this bed as well. And then these chives, I am going to take them out. My goal is to take them out anyway. They are happy. Look at that. So I'm going to just find some soil to put these chives in for now, and then we're going to relocate these chives into my metal raised bed at a later date, not today. We are putting strawberries in a leaf planter. So there's 2 different types of GreenStalk planters. You have the original, which are 10-inch deep tiers. And then you have the leaf planters, which are 7-inch deep pockets. So when I say pockets, I'm talking about from here to here. So your leaf planter is 7 inches deep. Your original is 10 inches deep. GreenStalk makes recommendations on what vegetables to put into what type of tier. So you always have that you can look back on to figure out what's the best vegetables to put where. I found another strawberry that was growing in the wrong place. I'm just going to go ahead and stick that one right there. And now it's right where it needs to be. For my leaf planter, I have 7 tiers that we will be planting today. I threw dirt in my shoe. All right, okay. I have all 7 of my planters ready to go, but they're missing 2 things. They're missing the fertilizer and they are missing the Mykos when I need to add strawberries to them. So let's start by getting the fertilizer in all 7 of these. And then we'll talk about the setup after I do this step. So for the fertilizer, I am going to just add a couple handfuls. Now my fertilizer is a low and slow fertilizer. It's only a 2-2-2. It will provide nutrition over the course of multiple months. And I am just going to take it and kind of just massage it into the top of the soil here. And I'm going to do this for all 7 pockets, whether I'm adding new strawberries or not. So we now have the fertilizer in, we've mixed it in, we got them cleaned out, but I have a couple tiers that are not full enough. So if we look at this one right here, you see there's about 3 inches, it's about 3 inches from the top. And there is a marking on your GreenStalk that says fill soil to the top. So this tier and one other tier needs more soil in it. Now I like to use a good quality potting mix in my GreenStalks. You don't want topsoil. Honestly, you don't even want raised bed soil. You need a potting mix. You need it to be light and fluffy so that your plants can grow and move around the pot, and you don't want it to get compacted. And so I've always used Pro Mix moisture potting mix or Miracle Grow moisture control. And this year I'm moving over to Fox Farm. I am going to use a Fox Farm, what is this called? Ocean Forest is what I'm going to use this year. I found a whole bunch of it on sale toward the end of the year and I bought a ton of it. So this is the first time that I'm actually getting to see this soil, but it's Fox Farm. You can't beat Fox Farm. Fox Farm is always a good quality soil. It has all kinds of good nutrients in it. And that's what we're going to be adding this year. I mean, you can put your compost in it, of course, right? You got to get your other nutrition in there if you're not using like Fox Farm or some of the other ones. This particular Fox Farm has, what does it have in it? Earthworm castings, bat guano, and a whole bunch of stuff from the ocean in it, which is why I thought I would like it. The Ocean Forest is a blend of aged forest products, peat moss, fish emulsion, crab meal, shrimp meal, and earthworm castings. So that's a good mix of the type of stuff you want in your soil. And so that's what we're going with this year. And so I'm adding it to this pot here, and that tier there needs a little bit. Now you can make your own potting mix, and there are many different options out there as far as what you can put in your mixture for a good potting mix. I don't. I buy mine, so I'm just saying that's how I'm doing it. But there are many options. Let's get this out the way. Now I've prepared all of my tiers. Now some of them actually need some strawberries in them. Now I purchased my strawberries from a local nursery in the area. Now you can grow your own strawberry seeds. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna take some time. And they have to have that freeze period. So they gotta have stratification where you're gonna have to put it in your freezer for some period of time before you even plant the seeds. And then you gotta wait for them to germinate and you gotta wait for them to get big enough to transplant out. For strawberries, that's really the only plant I buy anymore from my local nursery. Everything else, I try to grow from seeds when I can. Maybe flowers. I don't always grow my own flowers, but I'm trying to grow more of those. So for the Mykos, I'm getting that put in. And I'm only putting the Mykos in the pockets where I'm adding new transplants. And I put some in the pockets here, but let me show you the proper way of doing it. I'm going to try to follow the directions, at least on a couple of these for you. And then I'll go do it the way I normally do it. But the direction says that I'm supposed to, let's turn this around so I can do it right. I'm supposed to add, oops, I dropped it. So there's my strawberries right here. I'm supposed to add a light coating to that transplant. I'm supposed to dig a hole and I'm supposed to stick that in the hole. That's how I'm supposed to do it. So that's the process. I'll do one more. And when you bury your plant, well, that one don't want to come out. There we go. When you bury your plant, I got dirt in here. I'm really messing up, y'all. And I got dirt in my Mykos. Okay, I got it out. Put a little bit on the bottom of it. You dig the hole for your strawberries. And when you put your strawberry in, you only want the tip of that crown sticking out. So you'll see the crown. It'll be pretty obvious where the crown is. And that's what you want sticking out. And I'm going to do that for every one of these pockets. But I'm going to do it the way I normally do it, which is I have shaky hands. So I have a hard time putting that teeny little bit of Mykos on each and every plant. So I put it down in the hole, or I put it on top of the hole before I even start, and then I push it down like that. But you want that Mykos to touch the roots of what you're getting ready to plant. And that's the process. You want the Mykos touching the roots. And for strawberries, you're going to get it in the ground right up to the crown. And we will do that for all of the ones where I don't have strawberries. And then I will bring you back. Now that I have all of my tiers ready to go, it's time for us to put this GreenStalk together. Now, the first thing you need to do when you're putting your GreenStalk together is make sure you are on a level surface. And I like to buy some type of paver to put down to ensure that I'm on a level surface. In order to get proper watering of your GreenStalk vertical planter, you need to make sure you're on a level surface. So I have a paver. I think I paid $3 or $4 for one of the pavers. And I like to use the Ultimate Spinner. You can purchase these at the GreenStalk website, but I don't put wheels on my GreenStalks that are in my main garden area, but I do on the ones in the driveway and the patio. So the first thing I need to do is put my spinner down. And the spinner will allow me to rotate the GreenStalk so that I can get sun to all areas of the GreenStalk, as well as when I'm harvesting, I don't have to walk all the way around this thing. All I got to do is stand in one spot and spin the GreenStalk. So I got my Ultimate Spinner down, and now it's time for us to stack the different tiers. Now, some of my tiers are fresh with brand new strawberries, and some are going to have strawberries that are coming back from last year. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which ones I put where. So let's start getting these stacked up. When you're stacking your green stalks, you want to make sure that they are seated properly, and usually they'll just drop right in place. Once you get your first tier in place, then you need to add your gray disc. These are your gray watering discs. There are holes inside each one of these gray watering discs, and it is imperative that you don't get any kind of dirt or debris in them, or it'll keep your system from watering properly. And you want to line each of the little holes inside with each of the pockets of your tier. Once you've lined those holes up, it's time for the next tier. For the next tier, you are going to stagger set these in place. And you see how it just fell in place? The pockets sit just in between the other two pockets. So this one sits in between the two of those. It'll fall right in place. You'll know when you have it. And you're going to do the next step. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to line those holes up with each of the pockets. And then you're going to add the next tier. There we go. It fell right in place. And I like to make sure that I'm not pinching any of the plants. And since it's on an ultimate spinner, that's easy to do because I can just spin it around and check all of the pockets out. Now this one is seated properly, and we will keep adding each of the gray watering disc until we get to the top. Okay, I have all 7 tiers up. Now I typically don't use all 7 of my tiers because I'm short. And I don't want to have to be reaching way up here to pick my vegetables. But since these are strawberries, they're not growing up. They are going to hang down, which makes this perfect for strawberries. All 7 tiers are in place. And yes, the stone color gets very dirty. So we'll come and spray it down and get it cleaned up, make it nice and pretty. But all 7 tiers are in, and I'm up to the top. Now that we're to the top, it's time to put the top watering piece on. So no gray disc in the very top, you use this instead. And this tower is ready to go. And there are 42 pockets of strawberries, 42 pockets. So this will definitely give me a huge supply of strawberries for the season. But this is not the only one we're going to do. We're going to set up a brown one right next to it. So we're doing the exact same thing over here. You need to make sure that it's level. And we will just start setting it up. The same process. Now this is my GreenStalk planter from last year, and it had 5 brown tiers, and it looks like I had to replace 3 of my strawberry plants of these 5 brown tiers. And so I replaced those 3. All the rest of them are coming back from last year, and I'm just going to get these stacked up. Okay, we got all the layers on there, and we're going to add the top. and another GreenStalk set up and ready to go. So strawberries are cool season crops. You can get those started now. You don't have to wait till it's 80 degrees outside, because strawberries actually slow down on their production when it's super hot outside. Now I said 80, but more like 90 plus. It'll slow down on production. So getting these set up now will give you an earlier harvest. Now, as the season goes on, some people will tell you to pick the first blooms off of your strawberries to give them time to produce a stronger root system. In my GreenStalks, I don't do that. I get strawberries the very first year I put them into the ground in my GreenStalk systems. Now, if I was going to a ground bed or maybe even a raised bed, maybe I would do that, but I've never done that on any of my plants, and I've always gotten a harvest the first year. And I always grow ever-bearing strawberries. But that's it, y'all. We're going to get a year's supply of strawberries this year. I have strawberries in my 2 GreenStalks, as well as strawberries in between the 2 GreenStalks. In between the 2 GreenStalk vertical planters, I have 3 fire rings that have strawberries in them as well. So this is one of my fruit stations, as I like to call it. If you enjoyed this video on how to set up your GreenStalks with strawberries, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I will have plenty more GreenStalk videos as well as other videos to share with you in the garden as I continue to set it up for the season. So until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you come back to Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.